Hello everyone. Good evening. It is Thursday, April the 27th, 2023. This is Kimberly O'Brien with Kim's Creations and Card Ministry. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'd love to be coming with you live, so be sure you go in and subscribe to my channel, and please ask your friends to subscribe to my channel because I don't think they're going to let me go live until I get at least 50 subscriptions on my channel, and last I checked I think I just had 3. So I would really appreciate if you'd like my channel. Anyway, I believe when I was over here the other day I showed you a bunch of my paper pumpkin projects, the alternates that I did from the February 2023 paper pumpkin that was something about 10 years of growth. That's what it was. This is what the stamp set, what's in the stamp set right here. And again, this is like my second set of alternatives. I've shown you my first set. And so I'm working on my second set now. I have 4 that I've done. 5 that I've done so far. We're going to make one of those together tonight. Plus, we're going to do another little card with some of the new products tonight. So I want to go ahead and get started. Again, these are the stamps that come in the set. So we'll be using, for the most part, this is what we're going to be using on this card tonight. Okay? This first card that we're doing. So the other night I did a Facebook Live. If you can find me on Facebook at Kim's Creations and Card Ministry, Creations with a K. You can find me on Facebook, and you can see more of my photos there of cards that I've done. I've got a bunch that I need to get posted that I took pictures of a couple days ago. And anyway, and then I did this card. I demonstrated how I made this card the other day on my Facebook Live. We made this one, and I think we made one more. I can't remember which one we made. But this one was done with the tissue paper that came in the paper pumpkin box. Every month there's a tissue paper. This time it was a golden color, so I just cut out a piece. I wrapped it around like a little a card front, just this, that's a little bit smaller than your card base, and just lightly dabbed some glue on it with a sponge dauber, and wrapped it around on the back, and then just glued it down onto my paper. And then I used the dot paper card base and cut it into little strips and into little blocks and things so I could expand it and get more cards out of it. And this was punched out of the kit. These are some old embellishments that I found that were gold. I'm trying to use up some of my old stuff when I do these alternatives, just so my things aren't going to waste. But anyway, used the stamps sentiment out of the set from the Paper Pumpkin Kit, To an Incredible Woman, and You Deserve the Best. Again, I used the stamps from the set. This all came from the set. The only thing that wasn't from the set was, well, sort of, the gold was what these little happies came out of, and I just used a hole punch and cut those little pieces. Technically, I guess I could have done that here too. So that was all from the set, and other than the card base, which is shaded spruce, it was all from the card set. So there's my first alternative from my group 2, alternative 1, part 2. Part 2, card 2 for my alternatives was this one. Again, I think everything here was from the kit except for my little embellishments and this little twine that I used. So I stamped some of the pieces on my white piece of paper, on my white basic cardstock that's behind there. And I also sponged around my basic cardstock with the Highland Heather a little bit to add some color to that so it's not so white. I came in just a little bit on the edges where I sponged that. I don't know if you can see it or not. But then I stamped the big greenery. Well, I made it greenery. I used the Shaded Spruce. I stamped that, colored them in just lightly. And then I used the other stamp from the set. So I used these two in the background, this one and this one in the background. And then the other pieces were punch outs from the set, from the die cuts in the set. The little pot was also. This frame was a scrap that I had. I've gotten now to where when I'm cutting out rectangles and stuff, I'm trying to be conscious of keeping my edges as even as possible so I can use them as a frame on another card. And then on the inside, I just I used the punch from the set, and I was using the, what color did I have? Polished pink. The one's retiring, but this is the one that coordinated with the set color, so I'm still using it. But I stamped off and then stamped these back on so they wouldn't be so dark. So there is alternative, the second alternative in group 2. Group 2, alternative number 3. So again, those the little dot paper, card base that's the dots. I got a lot out of it, y'all. I got these 3 strips, and I got these 4, another set of 4, and a set of 3. So I've still got 7 more little squares, the little 1-inch squares that I can use. Again, I stamped these same stamps in the background on just my basic white cardstock. I took my blender pens and added a little bit of color to this one that's not colored in. And I brought in some of the Highland Heather and the polished pink into the leaves on that. Those were stamped in Coastal Cabana. And then I also brought in this little stamp right here with the dots that are like a decoration for the pot. And with the Orchid Oasis, that's my card base, and it's the base on my little squares. I stamped that little dotty thing around just to add a little bit more texture to my background paper. Again, so polished pink, Orchid Oasis, but happy that I didn't use the one that's in the set because it's so big. I didn't want to use it, but this one looks almost just like it, but it's smaller. I took that from, I believe it was called the Biggest Wish. I believe that's what it's called. Let me double check that. Yes, that was from Biggest Wish. There's a bunch of different sizes and scripts of happy and birthday and thanks and hello. And that's gotten to be one of my favorite sets. And then I just fussy cut that out. And then the Mother's Day came out of the Paper Pumpkin set. I love this card. I think it turned out really cute. I may do another one similar to that. And then there's the inside. And on this one, so a lot of the pots I've been putting the little dots on them and then coloring the pots. So I cut this pot out. I colored it and cut it out on a separate piece of paper because the ink bleeds so bad, and I just thought it would be easier to do it that way and less chance of messing it up. Plus, I stamped the image right here. I tried to stamp that part of this image into my pot, so it went outside of it a little bit. And when I drew the little pot, because I used the die cut as a stencil to do that little pot right there, and then I was able just to cut off what didn't come into the pot. I don't know if that made any sense or not, but that's what I did. But I really like how this one turned out. And then number 4 from group 2 of the alternates. Here I used half of the window frame. Remember the window that's like the stained glass looking window, and it had a part under here that had like 9 little squares in it, and then it had this part on the top. Well, I have cut off the bottom half of mine and using that by itself on a card. And then I use this kind of like over my bookcase, as like a window over my bookcase or a decoration over my bookcase. I use this larger cat instead of that little small one that I had used on the other card. I love the set that this cat is in. Unfortunately, it's retiring. I've done a bunch with this set. The little kitty cat, I cut the crown off his head in this one, or her. I put a pink bow. Oh, the ribbon that came out of last month's kit with the little frog and the kites and everything. Actually, it came out of the Playing with the Friends, the one that was in the mini catalog, because there's a die cut that has these little bows in it, and a die cut for the kite in that kit. So that's where I had a bunch of extras of those little bows laying around. Put that on it. But anyway, I've used these doggies and cat, and even the little guinea pig. I've made cards. The dog and the cat have been riding in a wagon. They've been in a bathtub. I can't even remember, because I took a bunch of them up to the lady that grooms my dog, and took them up to her. So, but anyway, just a cute card. I punched out of the gold. I punched all these little dots out. These are extra books that I got from, when I punched. There were 3 of these, and when I punched these out, the little leftover strips that's in between them came off. It was that, and I just cut those out to have extra books. So there are 4 of my group 2, my set 2 of the alternatives for this set. So all I've got really left is a few more cards, and then I'll be on my last set of alternatives, and I may just do some that are kind of fast. All right, so now we're going to do this. Alternative is going to be a little different, because this time I'm going to be highlighting this stamp right here that was on the second set of stamps. Remember, this one came with 2 sets, so this would be what you would normally get in a kit. Some sentiments and maybe a couple little odd extra things to stamp. And this one came with this bonus thing that had all the pot and everything. And I had not used this flower yet, really, except on that little pot on the inside of that other card. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this flower now. So I thought of a neat way to use it, and managed to get by without fussy cutting. I was going to fussy cut the flower, but then found a better option. Fussy cutting's nice though. I mean, I probably would have been happy with a fussy cut card, but I just didn't want to put that time into it right now. So here is my card, and we're going to make one like this today. So here's the card that I made with that flower. So I stamped the flower with the black Memento ink, and then I blended some different colors. The Calypso Coral, I used daffodil and maybe some pumpkin. I'm trying to remember. Can't remember exactly what I used, but several different colors. This piece of paper, can't remember the name of the pack. It was in the regular catalog. This is the back, one of the back sides of one of the butterfly papers. Yeah, this was the back of one of the butterfly set papers. This is an old Calypso Coral ribbon I have just like a scrap of it left, and so I used it because it matched the paper. This Happy I also stamped from here, and I fussy cut this Happy, stamped it in the garden green to match my card base. And did I do something on the inside? I did. Okay. So when I cut this and did the little banner end, I had these two little tiny triangles. So I used them to decorate the corners of my inside. Again, I'm only using a half on a lot of these paper pumpkin kit cards. Number one is because I ran out of the white paper, and I got my order in, but I ordered the wrong paper. So I'm trying not to use the whole paper. What you would normally do, a 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. So this is more like 4 by 2 3/4 is what it is. Okay. But anyway, this is the card we're going to make tonight. It's pretty simple. On this one, I used the Calypso Coral for the flower, but I stamped it off first. I wasn't really happy with the stamp off of this particular, the ink. I'm thinking my ink pad just needed more ink in it or something. So let's see. Did I already stamp? I can't remember if I stamped one or not. I don't think I did. So we need to stamp. Found my scrap piece of paper somewhere. I don't know what I did with. I had a scrap to stamp that on. I'll get a different one. That one. That one will work. So we're going to stamp that flower with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I want to double check, make sure I'm in the picture. I seem to be. Okay, and the video is still running. That's good. I need a sip of my water. Okay, so we're going to put, I'm going to do my ink pad this direction, and because it's such a big, pretty big stamp, and so I kind of feel like I need to move my stamp pad to the stamp instead of the stamp to the stamp pad. And I'm going at different angles just in case one part is inked better than the other. All right, so I'm going to stamp this right here. Oh, wait, I want to make sure I can get my circle, because I'm going to have to be stamping my circle out with it, so I'll do it. Oh, and I just saw I still had some Calypso Coral ink on here. Hopefully that's not going to cause me any problems. I'm trying to put this up here so I'll remember to keep my pad up here where y'all will, my picture will stay in the camera. Yeah, I didn't stamp that great right there. I thought I had it down there long enough, but apparently I did not. I can do it on that side. I'm gonna clean my stamp and start over. Get some of the ink off of it. And then I'm using my chamois here. Clean it, and I'm going to try to get some of these edges where I had a little bit of some Calypso Coral in there from earlier. It's already gotten a little bit stained from that, the pinks and some of the purples seem to stain more than other colors do. They're probably, whatever the red ink is, well, the red's stain. It's probably whatever number or whatever it is of the red ink that stains. I'll make sure that's dry. Okay, let's try this again. Sorry about that, y'all. We're going to have to ink her up again. I thought I did a good job inking it. And maybe I just didn't push in that one little spot long enough or whatever. I got to make sure I come out far enough because I got to get my circle. But don't want to use up too my paper either. I'd like to have some leftover paper. So anyway, while I'm stamping this, here's my information where you can find me on Facebook, or you can find my business page on Facebook. There's my email address, which I need to check today because I haven't checked it since early in the week. My phone number, 864-752-568, where you can send me a text message. If you're going to place an order, I'd appreciate it if you'd find me as your demonstrator in the catalog. Use me as your demonstrator. And then if you're going to order under $150 worth of products, use the April host code. You'll have through Sunday to use that. Monday, I'll be putting a new code up. And then Tuesday, our new catalog goes live. Yay! So... yes. All right. So I need Granny Apple Green for my leaves, I believe. And I know I used the Calypso Coral. And really the only yellow I have over here anymore is my Daffodil, because I didn't order any of the new yellows. There's not a yellow in Crushed Curry. So that's it. So I may have used a little bit of pumpkin. So I'm going to pull all of these out for now. I think actually I might start with the pumpkin. Let me see. Woo, that one was hard to get off. I think I'm going to start with the pumpkin just a little bit on the these inside pieces of the flowers. I think those are called a stamen. These little things are that come up in the center of the flowers, but I'm also going to be using it to get these lines on the inside of the flowers. Because I'm going to try to blend that ink into the other colors. Got that top flower a little bit too dark. I think I did that on one of my other ones I stamped too. I pretty much got it too dark. And then I'm going to use the fine tip, the little brush, so I can make it a little bit more fine if I'm real careful. And it's hard sometimes for me to tell if it's supposed to be a flower bud or if it's supposed to be a leaf. But I kind of felt like these were flower buds and these that didn't have anything inside of them were leaves. That's what I'm going with. All right, so here we go. All right, now I'm going to use, I think I'll do the dark Calypso Coral now and do a little bit more on the inner edges of the flowers. So I started with the big one, right? Okay, yeah, just go in these inner spots of the flowers. Because what I'm hoping to do is pull the dark color out a little bit toward the edges and put the dark colors more towards the centers of the flowers. And I'm sorry if I go outside of the lines, y'all. I'm supposed to go to the doctor Monday about my eyes. Getting my cataracts taken care of. I must say, I do not look forward to it. I don't know if it's going to put any restrictions for any length of time or whatever. I don't know. I mean, they said I'd be able to drive after a couple of days. So, we'll see, I guess. And I'm going to go with the light Calypso. But I'm hoping the insurance will pay well so that I can get, that one's not working too good. Let me get this other one. So that I can pretty much get my vision corrected. They say it pretty much just completely corrects your vision. But again, it also depends on what kind of lens they put in, and the insurance might not allow them to put in one of those better lenses that actually fixes my sight, but that would be nice because I've never been able to see well, especially distances. I really wonder, what things really look like, because I got a feeling I've missed out on some things and what they really look like, especially like scenery, like beaches and the ocean and mountains and things like that. I mean, I've always thought they were beautiful, but I bet they're more beautiful than I know they are than I've seen, because of just the lack of vision on my part. So that would be kind of awesome. And now I need to get some lighter shades in there, so I'm going to try see what happens with my yellow. I didn't leave myself a lot of room on that one. Maybe I need to do some greens. Come back and do that in a minute when let that dry a little bit, because these alcohol inks are kind of wet and it's good to let them dry a little bit. I'm going to do the dark Granny Apple Green. I'm going to work on the stems a little bit. Even though they're stamped in black, I can usually get a little bit of green to show through on the edge. So turn it this way. Sometimes it helps me see better. Oh, I was going to use the lighter green to do these, but I'll do a little bit of the dark there at the bottom of the leaf. Okay, stems. That's not a stem. All right, here's a stem. So we've gotten chilly in South Carolina again this week. I don't think it got out of above 55 yesterday, and let's see, what is it right now? It's 57 now, so it probably didn't get above much over. It probably didn't get any higher. That's probably the warm time. It's been raining like crazy all day. There's probably some flash floods in the area. We've had so much rain. But usually the pool that I swim at the Y is turning their pool into an outside pool about this time every year. But this year's been kind of different. We just hadn't had the same warm weather that we usually have been having by now. It's just been kind of crazy. But I love swimming outside. Right now I can go ahead and do my yellow. It should have dried out pretty good now, and so I'm going to pull some of this color to the edges of the flowers. If I can do it without going outside the lines too much. And so it's bled out over there a little bit, but looks pretty good. Let's see if I can get this one. I'm taking away all my orange in that one. I don't know. Didn't leave a lot of space for yellow in this one either. Well, I thought it had quit raining, but I swear I feel like it's starting up again. Early the week it was pretty, but it was chilly. We were having a couple of mornings. I mean, it was down like, I don't know, 45 or 46 in the mornings. Again, which is kind of crazy. Like, technically we're having spring, and we don't usually go spring. We usually just go from winter and dive into summer and have the 80+ degree days. Some of them in February, but certainly by March and April we're having a lot of 80 degree days, and we haven't had many at all this year. So Saturday is my people come to my home day to make cards. I'm hoping to have 3 ladies here. I have one that comes almost every time, and then one that comes sometimes, and then I got a couple that are in and out. Get the one that's the light, that's the dark. Okay, this is the light. So it would be nice to have 3 tomorrow. I mean, I don't really mind it when I just have the one lady, because she and I, we explore and we play with new ideas and stuff when it's just the 2 of us. But it'd be nice to get more people here. And I've been trying to figure out, I'd like to do a, like there's a lady over in the UK, she does what she calls it coffee and cards. Well, I work during the day, so like I can imagine, she probably does that in the morning, so I can't really do a morning thing. But I was thinking like an afternoon snack time with cards, and figuring out where I can maybe do that. And just do a really, really simple card, especially the first time. That's kind of like a make and take, where they just pick out, you know, they might have card bases they can choose from, or I don't know, maybe already have the kits pre-made, and then all they have to do really pretty much is glue stuff together and maybe choose a sentiment to stamp on their card, you know, which is what I'm kind of leaning towards, doing something really, really simple. And I just don't know how to kind of go ahead and how to instigate that, and where to do it. And then I could just like catch people that might happen to come in too. I was thinking about maybe going up to Panera, but they might not. I don't know. They're pretty good about letting study groups sit up there and do stuff. So, I mean, it's just really for me to get to know some people and get some people interested in making cards. I'm not going in there to make money, so maybe that would be okay if I'm not charging anything. I was thinking about actually saying something like, show me your receipt that you bought something here at Panera, and then you can have a free make and take card or something. That way they're not coming just to do the free make and take card. If anybody has any ideas on that, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Trying to bring in a little bit more yellow to lighten these up just a touch. That, I feel like my black is bleeding over there a little bit. Maybe I could use my color lifter. I'm gonna let that sit for a minute. I'm gonna put these other ones away. Need to switch that one back out because I'm gonna need it. put these other ones away while I'm letting that sit for a minute. And I'll go back and try to put some color lifter in there. This is pumpkin and pumpkin. Pumpkin and pumpkin. And my yellow and the green. And to make this easy, again, like I said, rather than fussy cutting it, we're going to use the punch. And it turned out, because I didn't have to, I really probably didn't have to color all that down there. I'm trying to find that punch, because I think it was my biggest one that I used, the 2 3/8 inch punch. It's one of the new punches. 2 of them are on the online store. 1 of them is in the catalog. So I've got a 1 3/4. I've got a 2 inch and a 2 3/8. I don't remember which one's which, but they're all of, well, the 2 that were in the online store were sold out, but they might have gotten them back by now. I'm not sure. And then I'll put it in right here, because I say I can't really do it that way without cutting off part of the bottom of the card, but I can do it here. And actually, I might just leave it. I started to say I probably came over this way a little bit too much. I could go on that way just a smidge and get a little bit more in there without having to trim off anything off my card base, but I think that's fine. I'm going to leave it like that. And we'll use that for the inside of our card. I mean, for the focal point of our card. So again, here was the one that I did on my original card. And here's another one that I did. So this one's closer to the one I did here. I must have used just more yellows on this one and not so much of the oranges. I'm going to try to use some of this color lifter right here around where it seems dark, like maybe where my black might have faded a little bit. It's probably where I just stamped it too heavy. But that might pull some of that color out a little bit if it sits for a few minutes. But I can save this one later and make another card with that one. So what I did take my, I was trying to see if I have the right sponge dauber. Yeah, I think that was the right one. Garden green. Get my garden green stamp. I went around the edges of that with my greens. I'm going to go ahead and do that while I'm here. Get back in the camera. I'm sorry if I was out. I apologize for that. I mean, I could have gone over there to the one of the die cut sets that's not expiring, that has the circles in it. Can't remember what it's called. I could have gone over there and maybe gotten a circle that's just a tiny bit bigger than this one and done it in a different color. But I really didn't want it any bigger than this. I kind of liked the size. And I tried trying the smaller size circle die, regular circle, but it cut off too much of my big flowers. I didn't want to cut off that much of my big flowers. So that was a no. All right, now I need to stamp my little Mother's Day that goes right here. Just going to pull out a scrap right here to do that. I'm going to try to use, sometimes you cut strips and the edges of them kind of stick up a little bit from when you cut them. And I'm going to try to just push those down a little bit with my bone folder so those edges are down more. All right, my Mother's Day and the little bitty print is right here. I did do that in Calypso Coral. I think I'll keep that in Calypso Coral. I feel like there's more ink probably on the edges. I don't know. Let me just... Now that stamped really good. That looks darker than that one over there did. Maybe I wasn't consciously getting my ink off of the edges. I don't know. Don't know. Alrighty. Anyway, if you live in the area and would like to do the, I need something that's not white. Here we go. I'll use this. Would like to come to the card class, let me know. It's from 9 to 12 on Saturday. I'd be glad to have. I'm sorry if my head's getting in there. I got to get over it so I can see. And hopefully get it on there straight. I'm so sorry if my head blocked it. All right, that turned out pretty good. I've smudged something over there. I'm just going to use my little snips here, and I'll cut this edge off a tiny bit. And do the same thing over here, because I don't want it to be really big. So there's that. Oh yeah, and I need to get my yellow marker. This time we're going to do a piece of yellow for the ribbon. Actually, I don't need to color anymore. That's a big enough piece. So put my yellow marker back. There's some ink somewhere getting on something. And it's this color. Don't know where it was. It's getting on something. We'll put that back then. All right. Oh, so this yellow, I don't know if I told you, that's actually a crushed, I think it's crushed curry. Yeah, it looks like it's crushed curry and not, it's like, it's not daffodil. Well, it could be the dark daffodil, but I'm thinking it's crushed curry. Let me see. Did I write them on the back? Yeah, it's crushed curry. Okay. So, what was I going to do next? Well, I'll go ahead and get this green and go around my Mother's Day edge. I'll run around the edge of it also. Just so it'll stand out a little bit. That should be good. Oh, that looked like I missed a spot right there. Okay. And then, so here's my ribbon. And I certainly shouldn't need a piece any bigger than this. Got another piece long enough to do another something, some color. All right, let's go ahead and take our, take this piece. Well, okay, I didn't go over my measurements. So my base, card base is a typical card base, okay? It was 8.5 by 11. I cut it in half. I scored it halfway at 4 1/4, and then I folded it. So it's just standard card base. This piece is 3 inches by almost 5 1/4. It's a little bit, just a tiny bit shy of 5 1/4. So it'll fit right there. My crushed curry piece. Where'd the one go that, oh, here it is, the one I hadn't cut yet. It is 4 1/4 by 1 3/4. Now I'm probably going to end up cutting off about 1/4 of an inch off of the end because I want it to stop right here and I don't want it to overlap. I'd like to just be shy of the edge. So I'll go ahead and cut my banner first. Okay, I'll save this piece for the next card or for another card. So the way you do this, now I have a banner cut thing, but it only goes up to 1 inch. So this one's not big enough. And I do have another banner thing, but I'm not going to use it. It's a lot of trouble to get out. So I'm going to cut this in about, I don't know, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Depends on how wide it is. And I'll kind of decide how far I want to go. But, and then you cut it in the middle as far up as you want it to go. So I'm going to put my finger right there so I can kind of see. And then you're going to take the corner up to where you cut it. And I kind of went a little bit crooked, so I tried to fix it. Cut another smidge one way or the other. Okay, maybe this way. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing. We'll take from the bottom corner up to that spot where we cut. There we go. And then if you want to use those edges on the inside of your card, you can save them for that, because that's what I had done. Now, if we look at this now, see if I put it up to the edge of my background piece here, the little flags are going to hang off the tiny bit. So I'm just going to trim off probably not even 1/4 of an inch, probably more like 1/8 of an inch. And for stuff like this, I use my cutter because I don't cut straight. I sometimes don't even cut straight using the cutter. So I'm going to actually do it I'm going to do it 1/4. I'm going to do it like 3/8. No, not quite 3/8. Let's see how that does. If that about gets it. Yeah, that's probably going to be just right. So that's another one of my pieces. So I can go ahead and glue this piece down right here. And actually, okay, so it's time for me to put new blades on my trimmer, but they haven't come in yet. So I'm waiting on my blades. But if you ever get these raggedy edges, you can get an emery board and kind of go gently across the edge, and it'll take some of those raw edges off. And I've had raw edges worse than this before on some of my older trimmers, but I don't get them that much on here. Usually that blade will last me a good long time before I start having trouble with, you know, raggedy edges. And sometimes, depending on what the look you're going for, the raggedy edge is okay. But they're just getting a tiny bit raggedy. It's time to put in a new blade, that's all. So I'm going to glue that here. So it was the Nature's Prints stamp set and dies that came with some paper that were more like in the blues. This is the same paper, but it's in different colors. So it's a different set in the old catalog. I don't know if you can still get it or not. You know, a lot of that stuff has gone. It's sold out because so much of it was on sale. I'll spread that down a little bit because that was too thick. I about need to get a refill on my glue too. Somebody was saying a little while ago the teacup paper, I believe, was still available earlier today. I think it's to buy that pack, that whole package of the teacup paper was like $8. The envelopes that matched that teacup set, they're just like $4 for a pack of 20 card bases and envelopes. Those were supposedly still available earlier today. The teacup stamp set is gone, but the dies are available, and they were showing how you can use those teacups, the dies. You don't have to have a stamp, because the teacups, I mean, there's just like a solid teacup stamp, you know, that, I mean, die cut, that would just cut out, looks like a teacup. But then there's an overlay piece that definitely makes it look like a teacup if you were to use that piece. I think I did have some of these teacups in my little scrap bin right here. My scrap bin that's overflowing. Okay, so it's got this piece right here. That you could do that in any color. Do I have more teacups in here? Okay, here's some. Now these, I did stamp and die cut these, but you could just die cut that out of a plain old piece of paper. I actually had borrowed this from a friend of mine. So like this right here, let's see. So this is actually just cut out of designer series paper. I mean, you can tell that's a teacup. And you can especially tell it's a teacup if you lay that over the top of it. Now it becomes a decorated teacup. So, I mean, if you're interested in getting that. And then there's things you can do with that paper too, to feature the teacups without having the teacup stamp or dies. I wanted to go ahead and show you that while it was on my mind. All right, so then we're going to put this piece down just a little bit. We'll put it about right here. So I'll go ahead and put some glue on it. Getting too much glue there. All right. I'm going to turn it this way so I can see what I'm doing. Well, I can't wait to show you all this next card. I've probably taken way too much time on this card. Well, I'm still okay, but the other card's going to take longer, so I don't know. All right, and then this one is going to go up on dimensionals, but let me see. Okay, I want to decide. I'm thinking about doing something a little different for this one. I mean, it's already a little different, you know, because it's colored differently and whatnot. Let me get my, let me go ahead and lay this little Mother's Day down onto the ribbon. I'll get some glue dots to do this, so we can lay everything on the page without gluing it down, and then I can show you what I'm thinking about doing. Whoops, there's my turtle. Out of my little scrap bin. He didn't fit in there so well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some dimensionals, not dimensionals, put some little glue dots right down the center of the back, on the back side of my Mother's Day that I stamped. And then I'm going to lay the ribbon right across the back of it. Don't lose that one. Oh, go that way. There we go. And we'll pull all those off. Yep. Come on. All right, that's the last one. Okay. And so we'll take our little ribbon here. I wish they were still selling this ribbon. That was a shame. It was that crinkled seam binding ribbon. Oh my gosh. I loved it so much because I could make it any color I wanted to, and it was so easy to do. And I'm just so sad that it's gone. All right. And this piece will be on dimensionals. And it'll be sitting about there. I'm going to turn it a little bit this way. And then this would be sitting here. I might trim the ribbon a little bit. And then the next thing we need is happy. And I was thinking about using the gold happy instead of cutting out another green one. If I do that, I'm going to have to take everything up a little bit because I guess this one must be a little bit bigger than the one I stamp. Oh, it's a good bit bigger than the one I stamp. Oh my, I didn't realize it was that much bigger. So it's definitely going to be hanging off a bit on in both directions. And then but I could still fit my little, I can move that on up and get it more like this. Because I still have one more of these gold ones to use, and again, it's still going to be one of my I just realized I've got the wrong one of these. This is the one we colored. That was mine. Yeah, because it was lighter. That was the one I had already done. This is the one we did tonight. So I need to use the happy somewhere, so I was thinking about using it there. And I think I will, because it's easier than having to stamp and cut out cut out one. I mean, I could do it. It's be a lot less time if I don't. So I think I'll do that because I still want to do that other card with you. So let me glue this down. Put some glue all around the letters. I should have brought my little mat so I could set it down to do it, but I didn't. Hey, Brody. And my little buddy come in the room. So I came home from work. It was pouring down rain, and he did not want to go outside. I tried to get him out there and tried to get him to like go under to where the ledge hangs over the side of the house. That didn't matter. He didn't want to go out. So, oops, let's put it down the right way. This is funny because the Y and the H look the same, except for they're just like one. It seems like one's just turned upside down or something, so it's kind of funky. All right, how do I want to go? It's kind of hard to figure out what's straight and which way it's supposed to go because the letters are kind of funky. I like them, but they're kind of funky. Here we go. That'll work. I have to try to get that little spot of glue off. All right, and then Mother's Day, I'll put it on dimensionals and stick it right there. Trim off the ribbon just a touch, both ends. All right, this should be good about right there. So let me put some dimensionals on that. Get my little ones. I don't know. I wonder if the big one would fit on there. Yeah, it will. I think this small pack of dimensionals I have, I don't know. There's something weird about them. I don't like them as much for some reason. All right, come on. It was wanting to stick to my finger and not let go. All right. But then we still need to put down our flower piece on the dimensionals. And then we still need to do the inside. Okay, and we'll put our, oops, don't drop it. Don't drop too soon. Put happy about right here. I'm sorry if my head was blocking the view. And I can still cut that a little bit. Still longer than I want it. Just hoping my, oh, they're not cutting good. We'll get this other paper out. Oh, they're in here somewhere. Here we go. I'm getting this other pair out for ribbon cutting because They haven't been used so much and will be better. Let's see which way I want to do it. Do it this way. And get up under it good enough. I'm sorry if I'm out of camera, forgive me. I kind of get this where I could see it, and I still don't see it that good. Trying to get my scissors up under it so I can just take off a little bit. I don't want to take off too much, and then it keeps shifting on me. All right, maybe I can try to hold it again. Ah, it moved again. Come here, come back. Note to self, do this before you glue it down to the page. All right, that's better. Got that side pretty good. And then I should be able to get this one easier. There's more to grab onto. There we go. That's better, except for the angle of that stinks. I want the angles to be similar. That's better, I think. Okay, well, I'm good with that. Getting a little too picky tonight, Kim. I don't know why I am, but I am. All right, these scissors go back into this and back into this. I'm going to think twice about using them because I don't want them getting ruined. All right, let's put some dimensionals on my flower. This one right here. See how it bleeds through there. This was the original one that I stamped, and it didn't look like it really. I missed some spots when I stamped it the first time, so that's the back of it. But it's great that that ink doesn't show through, so I can turn it over and stamp on the other side. And we'll put this time we're going to put it more it's not going to be quite in the center. I am going to have it down a little bit because, but not much. All right, still got little pieces of ribbon floating around. They got my static on them or something, so they're sticking to stuff. So there's the outside of our card minus the bling. And then let's see, for the inside of our card, I'll do another one later, similar to this one. Okay. Inside of the card. Now we need something. So here's my piece. And I think when I stamped my first one, I did not like the way the Calypso Coral turned out on that. I'm thinking, I don't know that I want to use green because I liked stamping in the green because it showed up real good. I could try using that crushed curry, see how that turns out. Why don't I try that? And I don't think I cleaned off my stamp yet, so I'll go ahead and clean it with the chamois. Oh, he's laying on the pillow behind me now. I've got 2 pillows in here on the floor, one under the desk that's behind me, and one under this table that's over to my side. And so right now he's on the pillow. These are doggy pillows. He's on the pillow that's behind me under the desk. I also have an ottoman that you prop your feet up on if you're sitting in a chair. Instead of a recliner, it works kind of like a recliner. But anyway, sometimes he sits on top of that too. So he's got 3 prime places to sit in here. 3 prime places to sit. But sometimes he just sits in the middle of the floor. So I'm at least glad he's sitting on one of the pillows right now. I wanted to see how it did when I stamped off, because sometimes these lighter colors don't do as well. Oh, that does kind of pretty though, doesn't it? I like that. I probably could have used lemon lime, but that might be too pale of a color for this particular card, because I don't have any pale yellows in my card. So make sure I get it on there really good, and I'll stamp it off once, and then we'll stamp it on pretty much right in the middle, I think. And I'm hoping I'm still in the camera view. Let's pull that off. Oh yeah, that did pretty nice. Let's see. Well, I'm down a tiny bit, but I think it was still in there. There we go. All right, and then we're gonna put the, we've already got Happy Mother's Day, and so on the inside, on this one, I put, to an incredible woman, you deserve the best. Most of the cards that I'm making are to an incredible woman or Happy Mother's Day, because I want to give these to some of my lady friends just to make them feel good. So I'll probably give them out like Mother's Day week or something. Let's see. All right. To some of my friends and that, you know, just want to be appreciated, know that somebody cares about them. So I'm probably going to do that. Stamp it right about here. Hopefully I'm not blocking the view too much. And hoping that ink goes in, absorbs real nice. Yeah, it worked. Oh, I don't need that again. I don't know why I'm stamping it up a second time. Now I need You Deserve the Best. I'm going to put it right along the bottom. Let's do it right here first. Yeah, that just stamps so crisp and clear, especially with this green ink. All right, and then we'll go ahead and put this in our card now. And close my ink up so I don't. There was something I was going to do on this card and I totally forgot. I'll definitely have to make a third one, because I meant to go in right here on this background piece and stamp some of our leaf on there. Forgot to do that. Oh well, it's fine. It's fine. So, and I'm thinking about doing these little things different this time too. So let me go ahead and glue it in though. But that tone-on-tone stamping, I don't know. I guess the front of the card's busy enough where it wouldn't need the tone-on-tone stamp. It's probably busy enough. So I'm thinking, instead of putting these at the top like I did in this card, where I stuck those at the top, I think I want to do like, oh, that's going to be interfering my words. I'm not going to be able to do that. If I had thought about it, I could have lifted the words up a little higher and that would have worked. But no, it's going to mess with my words. So they're going to have to go at the top after all. Or not at all. I could leave them off. Or I could just do one. One looks kind of neat there. I don't know. Maybe I like two better on this card than I did on that one because of the color. I'm thinking I might be okay with it. Or you could just do something like different, like put one of these right here And put one, let's say, let's do, well, they're not the right kind of triangles to do that though. They're off. I do that more with the, what is it called? An isosceles triangle? That the lengths are all the same. Is that right? I need to ask one of my math kids. I don't feel like I got two matching of them little things either. I've got two more somewhere. I'm wondering if I picked up one of the other ones. All right, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. So we'll get a little glue on the back of this one. If it doesn't squeeze out too fast, please. Keeps sticking to my finger and I'm picking it up. Okay, I think I'm going to make a separate YouTube video for the next card. So this, all right, so this was group 2 of my alternatives, group 2 of the alternatives. And I believe we said we had 5 cards so far in group 2. And I still have these things that I haven't used yet. Let me show you. Remember, I pull out the stuff to make 3 cards. I still, now that was the crossed, it wasn't in the group, okay? But all this other stuff, these leaves, these cutouts, this was the other half of that window. This was the rest of that dot card. That's another one of these little pieces that I cut the extra books. So all of this is still left. 1, 2, that's several cards still. That is still several cards. So I don't know. I may just finish these up and not do a group 3 right now. I might go back and do the group 3 another time so I can work on something else. We'll just see. But I definitely want to use this up. Because my creative juices have been flowing. And I'm just going at it. Oh my goodness. Set that there. All right. So gonna put a little bling on here, I guess. Let me put my glue back on. Whoops, sorry about that. Can't get it in there. Being ornery. There it goes. All right, so there's those 2. Let me see what kind of bling I have over here in my leftover bin. Some of these are really old. I had gotten them maybe when I had gone to card classes with other people and stuff, and they're just like, I don't know how old some of these are, but I think I'm going to use the little gold ones on this card. But since I used the gold happy, I'm going to use these little gold dots. And actually, I think these are still current, but they might be going away. That's what I can't remember. I got to go back and recheck some of my stuff that I'm not sure about. All right, so we will get, whoops, okay, come here. I'll put one right here. A lot of times I'll put them directly on these little things that have the sentiments on them. Because this one's so small, I'm just going to put it to the outside of it. It's really small to try to do that on. So even though these are small little dots, and I may put more than 3 since they are small. I might put 5. Still try to work in odd numbers usually. So that's 3. Kind of want one down here with happy. Can put one here, 4. and put one on this side of the happy. I'm trying not to put them like right in the same line with the other stuff. So this will be off a little bit. There we go. Oh, they're so pretty. Such cute cards. All right, so there we go. All right, so I have another card to do, but I'm gonna end this YouTube and I'm gonna put it on another one. And I may do another, depending on how long it takes me to do this other card, I might do another one of these too, if I can find a fast one to do. But here are, and I can't remember if I showed any of these the other night or not. I don't remember, because I also did a Facebook Live, because I do have people that are following me on Facebook that hadn't started following me on YouTube yet. So I'm hoping they'll come on over to Facebook. Over to YouTube. But I started working with the new in colors, and I made some cards featuring the in color colors, and I made envelopes, but I'm not going to put them all out there. So I used this background, the Pebbled Path background. I used it with the mauve. I used it with that wheat, what's it called? Wild wheat color. That almost looks like gold right there. If I put shimmer stuff, if I put glitter stuff on that, that would look like gold. I did this one with the boho blue. Similar design here. You know, I just switched out the cards. They're a little bit different, because this one's actually a card holder, a gift card holder. I have another, and then the other one that I used, the Pebbled Path, for my background piece, has all the colors in it, all the new in colors. So I've got those. Then the next in color I was playing with was the copper clay, and so I did this one, and this little guy is with that Waves of the Ocean set that's carrying over. And then I did this little guy, the little fox. He's also in a stamp set that's carrying over. And then another design like this one with the fox on it. So those were my copper clays. So I've used copper clay with blue. I like that. I liked it with the blue a lot. I was trying to figure out what color I liked using with it. The gray, the Pebbled Path, actually looked good with pretty much any of the colors. So there I used the Pebbled Path with the mauve and with the wild wheat and with the blue. And then here you've got it also with the clay. I think with the clay it works better if there's another color in there too. So then those are those four. Now I did one with a mauve card base. I hadn't done one with the boho blue card base yet, or wild wheat, I don't guess. Yeah, I've really only done the base with three now, because I'm getting ready to show you the third one. So here's the one with the mauve. And it's so cute. So I'm using the Retiring Daisy Punch. I love this Daisy Punch. And I sponged like the negative space when I punched out my daisy. I used this leftover piece to use my blending brushes to put that on there. These are cut out of that new daisy paper, so that's these pieces are from the daisy paper. I believe these are the back of something from the daisy paper. Then I put the little dragonflies on there. These are some old dots that I had. And then we'll look inside. I layered that daisy on that one. But this right here is this little twisted ribbon technique, which is what we're going to do on another card today, using some more new papers and new colors, with new and old mixed together. So that will be on the next video that I post. I might go ahead and do it tonight. It's almost 10 o'clock, so I'm not sure. We'll see. We will see. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate your time and watching. Please share it, comment. Please comment, like, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel so that I can get at least 50 subscribers so I can start doing some lives. I think that's what it's going to take. They just tell me right now, every time I try to do one, it just says, you're not eligible right now. So I guess it's the 50 subscriber thing. Although I did look somewhere else that said that wasn't true. But I don't know, because there's not like, I can't pick up the phone and call anybody and ask. And check out my Facebook page, because I'm taking photos of my cards and posting them on Facebook. If you want to interested in buying any of the cards or wanting to contract me to make some cards for you, I can do that. It's never too late to order Christmas cards. But I'd really love for you to come participate in one of my classes, or if you want to buy something from my store. I'm not attached yet to the store. Like, you can't go onto my website and click on the store. I'm working on that. But you can go to StampiNUp.com and look for me as a host, Kimberly O'Brien, O-B-R-I-E-N. You can look for me as a host, as a demonstrator. And you can put my host code in if you're spending less than $150. If you spend at least $35, you'll get a free card kit. And if you spend more than $50, you'll get an additional gift from me. So, but if you have any questions, you can just let me know. Thanks again, everybody. Happy Thursday. Yay, TGIF tomorrow. Not that far from now. So, I'll talk to you all later. Good night.